Hello and welcome to the Too Much Apparently podcast. If you're new here, this is a podcast for the deeply feeling, overthinking, emotionally overloaded humans who've been told they're too much apparently. And if you're back, thanks for choosing to sit with us again.
We're Alice and Carly, two therapists who are also just sensitive weirdos trying to make sense of life, healing, and our own brains. This isn't a professional advice podcast. It's more like the messy, honest conversations that happen when you finally feel safe enough to say what you're really thinking.
This space is for people like us, the ones who've been called too sensitive, too serious, too emotional, too intense, and have spent way too long believing that it's true.
Okay, on with the episode.
Today we're talking about being too online to be okay, the quiet exhaustion that comes from being constantly plugged in, reachable, and overstimulated.
Yes, it's that feeling when your brain's buzzing but your body's fried. You've scrolled through 5 crises before breakfast, checked your phone 37 times, and still feel disconnected from real life.
It's wild how being connected can make us feel so cut off.
Exactly. So we'll talk about how screen time, social media, and digital noise impacts our nervous systems, attention spans, and self-worth. What it might look like to actually log off without losing connection.
Basically, if your thumb moves to Instagram before your brain's even awake, this one's for you.
Let's get into it.
I don't know about you, but I am carrying some shame already. So you put on our prep document, let's share our screen time. And my response was absolutely not.
Yeah, I said, that would be a good idea just to start with talking about our own screen time. And you were just like, no, which says it all.
So I feel like this one bumps up against the last episode actually about what do you imagine a 40-year-old should be doing with their lives? And the answer is not spending this much time on my phone.
Wait, 39 years and 11 months actually is what we decided last episode.
Thank you. Yeah, but I think at the time this one goes out, I will be 40. So yeah.
Yeah, I have done a lot of work on this over the years to get mine down in a way that sometimes mine is lower, that it creates other problems about it being lower. But that's probably why I felt comfortable sharing my screen time, because I know it is lower, but it was not always the case.
Go on then. What's your average screen time?
For this week, right now, the daily average is just under 4 hours. And I can tell you that 3 hours and 22 minutes is on productivity and finance. 3 hours, 2 minutes is on social, and 2 hours, 41 is on games. Specifically one game that Alice got me into.
Is it Pikmin?
It's Pikmin, yeah. So my most used apps are, number 1 is now Pikmin, Bloom. Then it's ChatGPT. Then it's WhatsApp. Then it's Chrome. Then it's Visible, my chronic illness tracker. Then it's Instagram. Interesting. Oh, then it's my accountancy software. That's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, my average daily pickups, like the amount you pick up your phone, is 62.
Yeah.
And my notifications daily average is 110. Oof, glad to get that down, please.
That's a lot, yeah.
And I have a lot of notifications turned off, but there's a lot more that I need to turn off.
Yeah. So my screen time is way higher. So let me just pull it back up. So the average for this week is 9 hours 45. And I literally have no idea how I squeeze that in. So let's see, most used this week is Facebook, which is unusual because I don't normally use it that much and I can't think why it would be so high. Then it's Chrome, which makes sense for this week because lots of Christmas shopping, planning, all of that. And then Maps, when I drive up and down the country.
That will account for the lot of the screen time.
Yeah. 2 hours 34 on my Kindle, which seems quite low. Normally I read more than that. 2 hours 30 on WhatsApp. I think that must be where I'm leaving it open or something. I don't think I spend that much time. An hour and 44 on Pikmin and Bloom for me.
Yeah, my WhatsApp's at nearly 2 hours.
Yeah. Do you think Pikmin Bloom is when you're walking? Or no, it can't be. That must be when you've got the app literally open to feed them or whatever.
It's when I'm feeding them and I'm battling the mushrooms.
Yeah. It can't be when I'm walking because I've been walking a lot this week. So it can't be that. Pickups, daily average 95.
Yeah.
And notifications 159. And so the daily average is 159. I assume this is weekly then, 423. 423 notifications
I
on
mean,
WhatsApp.
notifications.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of my issues. That's one thing we'll get into. Notifications.
So yeah, but no, getting my screen time down is definitely one of my goals for this year because it is too high. I was literally having a conversation with my husband earlier about how do we live a more 90s lifestyle, and one of the biggest ones is not constantly being online.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I got the internet at home when I was 14 and I've just been constantly online since then.
Since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I wasn't able to be constantly online because I was born in the age of dial-up where you had to log on and you had that. That sounded like a donkey.
It did sound like that, but I figured out how to turn off that noise. So I could reconnect in the middle of the night and not wake my mum up.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Fascinating.
constantly online. Yeah. So what I said to my husband is maybe we need to go back to the days of cyber cafes.
Okay.
So we can still access the internet, but only for like an allotted 1 hour slot on a Saturday.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about your relationship with your phone, and has that altered or changed over time?
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. It has always been, yeah, just like I say, ever since I've got the internet, it just feels like something I don't have as much control over as I would like to have.
Okay. So you feel
Yeah.
like this has been quite present for a lot of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
Mhm.
feels uncomfortable because so my role in doing this podcast is to share from the scar, not from the wound, but this is still a very active thing for me.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that's where I'm at in my life.
Yes. So yeah, still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say I have had periods of being on my phone a lot. Obviously in my youth, but also during my 20s. I'm not really sure at what point it changed. It has been like it for quite a good few years now, maybe early 30s, when I just got a bit fed up of being on my screen all the time and actively tried to be on it less. And then I've just tried to be on it less and less. And then since I became an online therapist, that then even got significantly less because being sat in front of a computer screen all day
Yeah.
meant that when I came off, I just didn't want to transition to then looking at a smaller screen
Yeah.
for the evening. And sometimes as well, I don't know about you, but when your job involves talking to people all day and using your voice and listening to what's going on in other people's lives, once you've done your whole day of that, sometimes it's like, I want to hear no voices. I don't want to hear my own voice. I want it to be quiet, and I don't want someone to call me with the problem that I then have to listen to. It's kind of like I just want to switch off a bit now from screens, from people, from my own voice. And I think that has meant that I've stepped away further. I do, however, have periods where it becomes a bit of an issue again, and then I'll try to pull it back. So it was interesting actually looking at my screen time because I am actually in a period at the moment where it's got worse again and I need to pull it back. So I thought my screen time would actually be a bit more than what it is. But yeah, so I kind of say I have a much better relationship with it now, but there are still times when I get sucked in and then I start to use it in a way that I'm not happy with and want to try and pull that back again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? And I think there can be a lot of shame about it. And also that it can be difficult to get out of the cycle. And there
Mhm.
is a really good documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, which is all about the different ways that social media companies keep you stuck in the cycle of being on your phone and checking your
Yeah,
phone. It's
I
really
watched that as
interesting.
well. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something to hold in mind during the episode when we're talking about this because it's something in your control, and in the next breath it's something that's hard for it to be in your control because phones and social media and websites again are literally designed to use our own psychology against us
Yeah.
to keep us on these platforms. So it's not just our own willpower that
No.
we're having to fight against here.
Yeah.
They are designed to keep you on them.
Yeah. because the longer you're on them, the more money they make. They make
Yeah.
money by showing adverts. The more people that are eyes on the screen, yeah, the more money that they make. So what actually happens when we never disconnect?
Oh gosh, so many different things. Oh, it's that part when you go to meet a friend that you've not seen for a while to catch up, and then they keep pulling their phone out, or when people are responding to messages in front of you, or you're in the middle of a conversation and someone's phone rings and they say, "Oh, hang on, just let me get that," and then you're just sat there quietly whilst they just have this phone conversation with someone else, and you're twiddling your thumbs, like not sure what I'm supposed to do now, whilst they have the conversation. And when it's not something that has been urgent or necessary to answer,
Mm-hmm.
it really winds me up, because you think, just protect this time to actually just connect.
Yeah.
If you need your phone on because of your kids or for a potential emergency or anything like that, if you're expecting a phone call of someone you've been chasing, absolutely fair enough. But when it's just general messages or phone calls from people,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's okay. So that winds me up, because it takes you away from that present moment.
Yeah.
And your time is so precious now because we're so busy. And it's kind of like, oh, can I not just have your focused attention for this coffee hour that we're having without the phone being like, hello, you forgot about me in your
Yeah.
pocket. I'm going to ping. I'm going to remind you that I still exist. Pick me up. Pick me up. I feel like that's the little voice of the phone
Yeah.
and the notifications.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a super anxious, needy thing in your pocket that's constantly trying to pull your attention back. And yeah, sometimes as well. And I so appreciate that this can be a real ADHD thing, and I get that as well. But I still have to be honest, where it kind of winds me up. It is if you're like watching a show or a program with someone and then someone's on their phone. I think because I think they're not paying attention. And I know if you're ADHD, sometimes you need that extra stimulation and you sometimes can focus on those two things at once. But then not always. So I don't like it then when you laugh at something and then someone looks up from their phone and they go, oh, what was that? I missed that. And I'm like, for God's sake. So now I have to rewind it to relive the joke again. So that takes you out of being in the present moment. Yeah. And the other thing is, so let's just say I'm walking my dogs and I found that I've spent the majority of the walk looking down on my phone. It's like, oh, I've not been present on the walk. I've not shared in the experience with my dog. I've just stayed stuck to the screen. And who knows what things that you might have missed or seen or observed if you had only had your head up.
Yeah.
The other final thing, I feel like loads of things are popping into my head. But the other thing is when you see something really cool or you go to an event and your instinct is to take photos and video it, and then you're watching it through the screen.
Yeah.
There's so many times now where if I want to record something, I'll try and hit record, but then have my phone low and actually watch it with my eyes, not through the screen. And yes, sometimes your framing might not be great or your camera might be slightly tilted. But otherwise, if you're watching a gig through your phone, it's like you might as well have just watched it on TV. So I still do record things, but I try to not record as much. I try to do a bit of it and then say, right now, be in the moment. And if I do record, I try to set it up and then just watch it with my eyes.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, and I think I have a bit of a thing about this because, so my dad died of early onset Alzheimer's. So I've always got a bit of a thing about memory, although I very rarely watch these videos back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that balance of wanting to keep these memories. And I was thinking, so I was at three of my children's nativity show last night. And I'm trying to make sure that they're framed right in the screen for me to be able to watch those back. But then I'm missing the moment of just being there and watching my children in their nativity plays. Yeah, it's the balance, isn't it? When you were when you were saying about the you're watching TV with someone and them being on the phone, like it's me on my phone. It's me. I was like, that is Mark. That is absolutely Mark. He's really going to relate to that. I'm constantly like, oh, what did I miss? I'm a nightmare for it. I know that when I'm doing if I'm on my phone while I'm watching TV, it's not because I need extra stimulation. It's because I'm already overstimulated, and scrolling on my phone almost shuts off the noise in my head because
Right.
I'm
Okay.
just focused on whatever the thing is, and because I'm just scrolling onto the next thing, onto the next thing, onto the next thing. I'm not getting into any rabbit holes or any big feelings about anything. It's just next thing, next thing, next thing.
That's so strange to me because if I'm overstimulated, then extra things would
Yeah.
extra. Yeah, I'd be even more overstimulated.
Yeah, it is an unusual one. I think it's that. So when I'm overstimulated, if I was just to turn everything off and lie still on my bed, like my head would just be so loud
Mm.
that it would be so uncomfortable for me. So it's a way to just, yeah, it's just a way to just switch off from the noise in my own head.
Hmm.
And, you know, I have other strategies. So sometimes I will journal, and that's a really helpful way of getting things out of my head. But sometimes when I'm so tired, you know, if I've had a particularly long day at work, and then also the kids want me in the evening, so they want some energy, and then my husband wants some attention, it can just be a bit like, I haven't even got the energy to pick up my pen and journal or, you know, do
Mm.
anything else. So yeah, but it isn't good, and I know it isn't good, and it's not good. It's not something that I want to model to my children either. Being on my phone all the time, or you know, if they say something to me and I'm like, and I don't even respond, and then they just go, "Mummy," and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that distracted mum that's always in her phone. So yeah, it feels like a really delicate balance sometimes because it's something that's so easy to feel shame and frustration about. But I know that that is not the way to change things. So, like we said
Mm.
on, I don't think it was the last episode, I think it was the one before about New Year's resolutions. Like, you can't shame yourself into positive, sustainable change.
No. And I think where there needs to be some more compassion, also just some reasonableness, is that so many things and tasks that we need to do for our day to day lives are also on our phone.
Yeah.
So there's only so much distance that you can get from it. So yeah, your child could be going mummy mummy and you're not paying attention because of a reel that you're watching, for
Mhm.
example. And that could also be happening because you're transferring money around in your bank account,
Yeah.
because you're responding to a message from a friend who's in a crisis,
Yeah.
because you're checking when your MOT is due. I don't know. There are
Yeah.
so many different things now that you need a phone for, essentially,
Mhm.
that you can also end up doing it. So it's like sometimes when I'm walking my dogs, I might have been on my phone the whole time, but sometimes I've been doing errands at the same time
Yeah.
as walking the dog. So killing two birds, and I come home a bit lighter with less to do. But
Yeah.
it has still taken me away from the experience with my dogs.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's where you said when you were looking at your screen time just before we started recording, you noticed that a good chunk of it was from a meditation app. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, that's something that's positive and
Yeah.
hopefully good for your well being. So,
Yeah.
again, your screen time might not necessarily always equal a bad thing. It's perhaps what is making up that screen time.
Yeah. So yeah, the meditation's really helping. That's something, and it's something that I've struggled to get into. But just the last week or two, I've really got into yoga nidra, especially, which is it is not moving your body at all. It's literally lying still while somebody gets you to focus on different parts of your body. And I just find the rhythm of it so soothing. So that's helpful. And so the Pikmin Bloom app as well, the game that I play that I've introduced you to, that gets you out and walking. So that's a positive thing.
Unless you do what I do with it.
I wasn't going to mention that you send your boyfriend out with it, no.
When it's like, oh, I need to have more steps on the game so my little Pikmin will hatch. I just say to my partner, when you go for a walk, will you take my phone and play my game for me?
Yeah.
Cheating.
Genius. Yeah, so I think there are some positive things. So reading. So I read most of the books that I read on the Kindle app on my phone.
Right.
So that also pushes up my screen time, but that's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
You know, that's a good thing. So even TikTok, I think I've spoken about this before. Like I've really curated my TikTok feed to be things that are supportive, that are helpful, that are encouraging. It's getting a bit trickier now. I don't really recommend it in the way that I did in the past because there are so many adverts. It's like literally one video and then three adverts and then another two videos and then another two adverts, and it's not the same. Or people trying to, even if they're just content creators, they're now selling whatever it is that they're showing you in the video. It feels like it's
Mm.
kind of lost whatever it was. Before it used to just be look at this wonderful apple tart that I'm making. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, that feels nice. And then it'd be someone running along the road and going, it's not just you, like life's hard for everybody and you just got to get on with it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not just me having a bad time. So that, yeah, there's some really, really helpful stuff on there. Sometimes just funny stuff. And it's just a quick way to just get a bit of, humor and relax a little bit. But I think there are times also where it is clearly problematic, where it's interrupting your relationships, it's overstimulating your brain, it's getting in the way of other things. Yeah, and I suppose I'm still in a space where I'm not happy with how my screen time is. I think I just haven't been, for various reasons, haven't been in a position in my life where it's been a priority to change it. I think I'm
Yeah.
getting there now, but yeah, my priorities have been elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And as well, perhaps steering clear of something being good or something being bad can be helpful because people's relationships with their phones is going to be so different and people are going to have different needs to meet. One of the things that I struggle with is because I'm so prone to overstimulation and overwhelm, I've realized that I care quite a lot about digital minimalism and trying to reduce the amount of digital things in my life. And that's also hard to do when you're running an online digital business.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where I come up against it because I think if I didn't have an online business, I think I'd hardly be on stuff. But it's needing to be on stuff for my business that keeps me on. So I find I'm constantly trying to juggle that line between wanting as much digital minimalism as possible versus I need this for my business to exist.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out that balance. So since launching the podcast, I have spent way more time on social media than what I did pre-podcast. Sometimes that's because I'll log on Instagram because I know a post has gone up and I want to put it on my story. But I'll open the app and straight away, of course, there's a reel that pulls me in and I look at that reel. And then I think, oh, that person's cool. And then I end up going on their profile and then I end up watching more of their videos. Is this someone I want to follow? And then I might learn a few things and then I might follow them. And then maybe I'll see something in the video and then I'll end up, oh, that looks good. And then I'll end up researching the video. And before I know it, I've spent so much time looking at all sorts of stuff and I only went on to just literally click, share to story, job done.
Yeah.
And it annoys me so much. I'm like, how does this keep happening? Damn it. You're so good, social media gods, at just pulling me in and keeping me hooked. So every time I come up against a new problem, I start to try and think of what might a solution to this be. So recently I have purchased an iPad and I haven't done it yet, but I'm sitting with the idea of maybe putting all my social media apps on the iPad and removing them off my phone so that I'm not getting pulled in when I'm not expecting to be pulled in or when it's efficient for me to be pulled in when there's other stuff because I'm just such a distractible person. Where I will still use social media and go on social media, but I'm going to do so intentionally when I decide to sit down and spend some time on social media and maybe thinking about at what points in the day might I check in on things and do stuff. And hopefully that could still work from a business perspective if I'm sitting down to check it a few times a day, rather than any moment that I'm brushing my teeth, going to the toilet and making myself a drink and you can just pull it up and go automatically click on it before you're even thinking of it.
Yeah, so I took Facebook and Instagram, I think just Facebook and Instagram off my, oh, how did I do it? I don't think they were in the dock at the bottom of my iPhone, but they were somewhere. Maybe they were just on my home screen and I've taken them off my home screen. But now I automatically pull down and type in the letter F, which brings it up straight away.
Yeah, you just search.
There's no way around that. I've recently bought an iPad as well, but for the opposite reason. So on my iPad, I'm going to have no social media and I'll just have it for my planner, of which this year I have got one, not four. My planner and for Kindle. Because what I'm noticing is when I'm trying to read, a notification pops up, or I just automatically swipe my thumb up and move to a different app. back to Instagram, back to TikTok, back to Facebook, whatever. And I'm on, what the heck? So I'm like flicking through apps instead of just being able to focus on what I'm reading. And it was driving me mad. So yeah, that's what I've done. But yeah, so what you said about the digital minimalism as well, like I'm one of those people that has loads of unread emails. So let me just see how many unread emails I have currently.
No, I'm anxious already.
Oh, I don't think it's actually telling me. That's weird. Did I get it to turn it off? Oh, it doesn't tell me. Well, that's pleasant, isn't it?
Did you turn off the red bubble notification?
I must have. I didn't even know that had gone. But yeah, no, I have absolutely loads of unread emails. So in one,
No, I can't cope with that.
29,582, and that's just in one account.
No,
It's just spam. It's just spam. I need better filtering. Like they're not all the urgent emails. I'll open them. I'll read those. Yeah.
I just want you to give me your phone so I can just.
I would love that. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And I do every now and again delete them all. But yeah, just so like I've been trying to get rid of. So another app that I have is Finch, which is a self-care app. And so you have a daily goal, you tick it off, it gives you gems, you can use the gems to buy things for your little character or their home. So one of the tasks that I have on there is to is to unsubscribe from an email that I don't want, newsletter that I don't want anymore, and to delete an app that I no longer use. So I'm gradually over time getting rid of things, but it is overwhelming. It is constant. I wear a Fitbit watch, and if I don't remember to silence my notifications, then sometimes, and most of the time I do, but sometimes when I'm with a client, it's like buzzing on my wrist, and I'm like, oh, go away. Or even just then, we were just interrupted just then by the pinging of a notification, which is because I haven't figured out how to silence an iPad.
They're my biggest bugbears. So I spoke earlier about notifications and that I'd come on to notifications. That is one of the things that I can't stand the most is notifications. I feel like I'm wanting to just really rebel against notifications. I used to just think a notification was a notification. Like I'm saying the word notification now too much. But now I view notifications or almost, I kind of now view notifications like when you're walking down the high street and people try to grab you to talk to you and get you to sign up for stuff that you don't want and they keep you caught.
Yes.
And so when a notification comes up, I'm just seeing it like this person X amount of steps in front of me that's trying to hook me in. And I'm like, oh God, no, I don't want them to talk to me because I don't know how to be impolite. And I'll be stood talking to them for the next 10 minutes and probably signing up for something that I don't want to sign up for. Thank you very much. I'm going to try and find a way to go around the other way and not get caught. And I just feel like my notifications now are trying to do that.
Yeah.
Firstly, because of my sensory sensitivities with sound, my phone exists on silent, but also no vibration.
Same.
But I don't have the vibration on. I cannot stand it when it just goes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't like the noise of it. So it exists on mute.
Yeah.
So the notifications can't get me that way because it exists on mute. But then when you just look at your notification screen, there's just so many all just saying like tap on me, and I don't want to do that. So I started to deliberately, if I downloaded a new app or something, either turn off the notifications completely for it. But of course, there are times when I miss or don't forget, or sometimes you do need to have some of the notifications, but not all of them. Before long, even when you think you're being clever, you still end up with your phone giving you a load of notifications. I mean, just like we looked on our screen time, mine was still over 100 in it, and my screen time was still low.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely just hate it. So I have, even though it's not perfect, keeping my phone on mute and trying to reduce the amount of time my phone is pinging at me has helped. But the other thing that annoys me about notifications is notifications that are from people. And that is because when we lived in the days of landlines, you would call someone, and if they didn't answer, you'd think, oh, they're probably not in.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if someone calls you and they don't and you don't answer, they're like, why are you ignoring me?
Yeah.
It's like, why aren't you available? What are you doing? Oh, I tried to call you before. What were you doing? Oh, I was just cooking my dinner. Like, oh, right, how come you didn't answer? I was
Yeah.
cooking my dinner. And there's just this expectation now, because we have mobile phones, that you have to always be available to the people in your life when they want to get hold of you.
Yeah.
It's like you're inconveniencing them if they
Mhm.
can't get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And then they're annoyed at you.
Mhm.
I maybe experience this more than other people, because people genuinely do have a hard time getting hold of me because my phone exists on mute.
Mhm.
And there is a common joke amongst my family that if you're ever in a crisis, don't call Carly because she won't pick up.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking over, but I have so many thoughts on this. I've also gotten a lot better at not feeling the need to respond to people straight away. In fact, not even straight away. Sometimes I will respond days later now.
I really like
Yeah.
this about you
Okay.
because I think I apologized for not responding quickly at some point, and you were like, "It's fine. I don't expect people to respond." And you're the first person that has ever said that to me. And I cannot tell you what a physical relief it is in my body to know. See, I don't know how. I think because of my experience, I am projecting stuff onto you. So last night you messaged me to try, you were asking me, what do I do about this particular section of the podcast? Do I leave it in? Do I take it out? So when you sent me that message, I think I was driving home and I came home. I had a quick bath because my body was really sore. And then I went out to my children's nativity, which was like 6 till 8 p.m. and then came home. And part of me was like, oh, I need to respond to this straight away. Like, she's trying to edit it. She needs to make a decision. Like, I have to respond right now. And then other part of me was like, no, she said it's fine. You don't have to respond straight away. And also, Alice, you're really busy today.
Yes.
So yeah, it just was such a relief, because I think I do have that feeling from other people that you need to respond. But also I have that with other people as well. Like, if I send a message to my husband and he doesn't reply, I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on? Like, the only reason you have to not respond to me is when you're on a work call. Like, any other time, instant response. And that's not healthy, is it? That is not healthy. So yeah, I think I really get that sense of notifications being a demand. And I've started turning off notifications for groups that I'm in WhatsApp, because they rack up
Yeah.
notifications like nothing else. And I'm in so many with 3 children and multiple, like, so school, so like class WhatsApp groups, and then rainbows, brownies, like whatever else clubs that they're in. Yeah, there's a lot that can rack up really quickly. But yeah, I was just thinking back to the days of the landline. You'd ring someone and they'd be in, or they wouldn't. And you know, if you were fancy, you had a voicemail system, and if you weren't, you just had to ring later. And I was thinking about, so my daughter is 11 and she has a phone, but I've really cut down on how much she has it. So at the moment, she has it for an hour on each day of the weekend and not through the rest of the week. But if she goes out to meet her friends at the shop round the corner, I feel really anxious about her going out without a phone. But I didn't have a phone till I was 14, and that's just what we did. You just used to go and play on the park, and you didn't have a phone, and
Yeah.
it was just a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. I feel really sorry for today's kids who don't have the utter joy of having a home phone and creating a witty, funny jingle for their home voicemail. Like, that was such a thing to do that I just used to love doing that. And yeah, people just, kids of today, they just never know what that's like.
Yeah, yeah. Or answering the phone not knowing who it was
Oh,
as well. Like, before you had like
yeah.
call screening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
you
don't
just
like
answer
that.
the phone. It could be anybody.
Oh, I'm glad that that's not a thing anymore. I
Yeah,
like to screen my calls, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But yeah, on the notification front, and with you talking about your watch, so I have a Garmin watch. I will not have a smart watch like an Apple Watch, because it would be a waste of money, because I turn off anything where it pings me notifications from my phone. Not only are we so accessible and expected to be accessible by our mobile phones, but now it's on our literal wrist.
Yeah.
Where even if your phone is in your pocket and you could be doing something like you've gone for a swim, or you're playing a round of golf with your buddies, or doing anything at all, that people can just get you immediately. And again, you might be having a conversation with someone and then you see them look into their watch, they're not checking the time.
Yeah.
It's like there are so many things vying for and pulling our attention all the time. And we know it's not good for us. And the research shows us it's not
Yeah.
good for us. I know that chronic phone use
Mm.
increases cortisol, our stress hormone. Obviously, it disrupts our sleep. It makes our attention even more fragmented than it's ever been, reduces our focus, emotionally numbs us, and creates high levels of anxiety, can keep us in a fight or flight response because we're always on and we're never off. And you
Mm-hmm.
say, like, that's just the list of things that it contributes to. And yet we're still doing it.
Right. And as you were reading that out, I was like, yeah, I'm paying what, like over £1,000 for the privilege if you're getting the latest iPhone. And that's not including the monthly connection. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. It's
it's madness.
yeah. I was just watching a video on social media this morning while I was getting ready that was talking about how hard it is to disconnect
Yeah.
because they have hooked us in. They literally got all these people working on how they keep us hooked in. But also, again, as you were reeling it off, like there's part of me that's, oh, stop talking. I don't want to hear it. Like, I know all this. And yeah, it's just this real conflict of wanting to change, but also part of me, like, I think it's a teenage part of me of like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
That almost
love it.
keeps me stuck in it longer. So I have found, with other things in the past, I have sometimes found that giving myself permission to do the unhelpful thing actually helps me disconnect from it quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see how that reverse psychology
Mm.
can help with that. I think the overwhelm side has just won out. Part of the reason I used to stay so on my phone was, to be honest, like FOMO.
Yeah.
Not keeping up to date with the latest trends, not
Yeah.
knowing what meme everyone is talking about, or that did you see that hilarious video?
Yeah.
And sometimes things that are actually quite helpful, but what local events
Yep.
are being ran, what's happening in your local town or your local village,
Yeah.
Facebook groups, and
Yeah. Yeah.
who's doing what's for sale. There are so much that is useful, but also just still keeps you on your phone. I think I'm
Mm.
so prone to just getting overloaded with stuff, such as
Mm.
so many people, my partner included, can just ignore having thousands of unread
Like me.
emails. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you. And even keep the red bubble tag on. I'm like, for the love of God, at least turn that off. But where people are just very happy to just leave that on, or where home screen is a mess and none of the apps are organized in relevant folders. Oh, I tell you what else stresses me out whilst we're on the subject. Photos. Do you not know where I'm going with this? Your
I'm
face.
like, I don't even want to know how many photos I've got on my phone. Probably far too many.
Oh,
Again.
mine is
Oh,
crazy. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Fully on the crazy amount of photos
Mm.
train, including I'm like the queen of screenshots that I definitely
Yeah.
need to remember. And I will look back at this. And of
Mhm.
course, you never do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm realizing so much of my issue here is the lack of organizational structure.
Yeah.
Continuously on my to do list is sort digital photos.
I even got an online course. It was a free one. I think it was included in somebody's digital bundle thing that they were selling to organize your photos. But that has just gone into the grave. So I have a separate email address now for freebies or free
Right.
courses or things like that. So because that was cluttering up my inboxes so much. But yeah, it just goes into a graveyard of things that I've signed up to that I'm definitely going to get around to when I've got 5 minutes that I'm never going to have.
I don't know if I've
Yeah.
spoken about this on the podcast before. So there was a time when I was getting overwhelmed with my emails because I had two email addresses, one that was for the important everyday stuff and one that was like my spam email, which is what I signed up for everything to. But one day I just decided that this wasn't enough organization and the amount of different types of emails was stressing me out. So I thought it was a good idea, and I kid you not, to create several more email accounts to the point that I can't remember how many I ended up with, but one of them was like Carly.shopping, Carly.general. Carly.spam,
I've
all
definitely
sorts.
heard you talk about this. I don't know if it was on the podcast, but I've definitely heard you talk about it because I tried it out for receipts. So I've got
Oh,
something
yeah.
like Alice's receipts or something like that. And I couldn't keep it up. I was like, this is too many email addresses. I can't deal with it.
Well, that's exactly what happened. I think I ended up with 7 email addresses, which then meant whenever I went to log into my account anywhere, I was like, wait, did I use Carly.shopping or Carly.general with this, or just Carly Radford with this one? And it started to get absolutely so overwhelming. And I have such a pattern of getting overwhelmed and wanting organization, but then the organizational structure I come up with being far too overwhelming to
Yeah.
maintain. So it ultimately culminated in a point where I had to sit down and go through all of the things that I was signed up for and revert it all back to just
Oh,
being
Christ. Oh my gosh.
one singular email address. And yeah, my partner was there for the whole shebang of me getting really overwhelmed and having a bit of a mini meltdown and having to change it all back to being one universal email address. And anytime now something comes up where I think about changing the way that I'm doing it, he's like, remember the email debacle? Remember what happened with the emails? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think I might have been at your house actually when we were talking about it because I feel like I can hear Dan saying it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Oh, I just got hit with this wave of uncomfortableness. Part of me is feeling like I just want to re-record this whole episode because I feel like I've just ended up monologuing at you about things to do with online and my feelings all about my phone. And now I'm realizing there's so many more things for us to talk about that probably would have felt like a bit more of a coherent narrative. And now we're suddenly needing to figure out how to wrap this up to get to the end. So, oh yeah, I'm having not good feelings, Alice.
I like it. I like it. I feel like you have spoken more this episode than me, but I think the position I take is that over time it will just balance out. There'll be other episodes where I feel more comfortable talking about things or I'm more passionate about things. And then episodes like this one where you've got loads to say and I don't have so much to say. And part of the reason that I don't have so much to say is because I think I'm behind in where I am in my process with it, that you've done more work on how to be okay not being online all the time. So you just went off to give some medication to your dog, and I instantly picked up my phone. I checked whatever the message was that pinged while we were recording because I could see it was my therapist, but I didn't see what she'd said. And she was just sending me something that we talked about yesterday. And then I went onto Facebook. And then I was on Reddit and I was like, why am I on Reddit? And, I hadn't even, there was no conscious decision to check Reddit. And then I'm on Blue Sky, which is where I follow all of the political stuff. And I know that's something that keeps me online all the time, is that kind of not quite like, it is a bit of FOMO. It's like an anxiety FOMO of like, what's going on in the world and I need to be following it and I can't miss anything. And has Trump done something? Has Starmer done something? What anti-trans thing have they come out with now? So kind of needing to feel on top of that. But it was really weird to kind of have it, been talking about what we were talking about there, and instantly, yeah, I was on my phone checking this, checking this. Like my brain's got this cycle that it cycles through to check,
Yeah.
and yeah, it almost feels like I'm not powerless to it, and that it's important to hold on to the fact that I can make decisions, but also we do have unconscious parts of our brains, automatic parts of our brains that have been programmed by these apps.
Yeah.
And it is hard to break out of. It's going to take conscious effort for me to do that. I think one of the things that I'll do after having recorded this episode today is go back through my apps and see where else can I turn off notifications and actually what other apps can I delete. And what I'm wondering is, do I just take Facebook off my phone entirely and only access it on my laptop, which never really leaves my desk?
Mm-hmm.
And just things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think it's a topic that I'm just really passionate about. And so often there's a lot of advice about how to reduce your screen time. And if I'm honest, I don't think it's adequate enough.
Yeah.
Because as you say, delete the app off your home screen, you're just going to search for it.
Yeah.
Put a timer on it, you're just going to override it.
Yeah.
Get an app that blocks it, you probably just end up uninstalling the app so that you can access it. It's not saying that it's a bad idea to put barriers in your way, because those barriers can be helpful. But if you want to override it, you will override it.
Yeah.
And just trying to just stop. I mean, like any addiction,
Yeah.
whether it's addiction or a problematic behavior,
Yeah.
just stopping often doesn't work. So sometimes I think rather than just saying, I'm going to be on my phone less, I think it's helpful to look at what need is being on my phone meeting. What
Mm-hmm.
is it doing for me? Each time I reach for it, what was happening right before I went to reach for it? And why do I think that's what I automatically went to do? What is it that I was looking for in that moment? Whether that's avoidance of something, whether it's distraction, whether it's a busy mind that you're just trying to shut off, whether it's a false sense of connection or whatever else. I think when we can look at the need that the behavior is meeting,
Mm-hmm.
then we can say, okay, are there other things that I could do that would help meet that need instead?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, like for yourself, where you just said, I just automatically reach for my phone without even thinking. Well, for an ADHDer, sitting at your desk, just patiently waiting for when I will return, of which you don't know exactly how long she's going to be, it's probably a bit painful and a bit uncomfortable. And so, if your phone is within arm's reach, that's a great thing to go to kind of get rid of that discomfort of just being in waiting mode.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be other things that people could have access to
Yeah.
on your desk that you could do instead. Could be an opportunity to stand up and stretch your body or something like that. Or for me, like play with something squidgy. And yeah, just thinking about that in day to day life, like the time, just take notice of the times that you've reached for your phone without even thinking about it and just play a bit of detective mode.
That all sounds really helpful, really interesting questions to reflect on there. And yeah, after what we just said about notifications, it's really interesting. The draw for me to pick up my phone while you were gone wasn't so much the pain of being sat here doing nothing, because actually I've got a really nice view of they're very bare trees at the moment, but a nice view of some trees out the window. And I do sometimes like to just sit back and just, look outside. But it was, so on the notification point, it was the feeling I had in my body was, who needs me now? What emails have come through while we've been doing this? What messages have come through while we've been doing this? What do I need to check? What do I need to be on top of? What do I need to do before the end of the day? I know I've got at least 3 emails that I need to respond to before I go to bed. And yeah, and then that feeling of what's going on in the world. And actually, can I challenge myself to just sit in the not knowing? That actually, if somebody sent me an email, it's not urgent.
Yeah, because that does sound stress driven.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
not wanting to miss something,
yeah.
having to
Yeah.
be on top of, knowing all things so
Yeah.
nothing falls through the cracks.
Yeah. Which then feels like too much demand. And then I will resist those demands and not reply to things quick enough. And it just loops around. And there's that constant feeling of being behind. But yeah, no, so really helpful and interesting questions there that I will take away to use for myself and also my clients.
Well, we started this episode by asking each other what our relationship like is with our phone. And I think that's the key word, like the relationship with
Yeah.
our phone.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have an anxious attachment to our phone?
Yeah.
Are we being driven by avoidance in day to day life to spend more time
Yeah.
with our phone? And so, really, I appreciate it. It's an object at the end of the day, but it is something that we do have a relationship with,
Mm-hmm.
patterns of which we might see extended in other things as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be that deep with your phone.
Yeah. So someone that I really like who deals with food and eating issues, she says the way that your relationship with food reflects your relationship with life, or the way you eat is the way you live your life. And I wonder if there's something similar actually with phones, like the way you interact with your phone is the way that you live your life. Yeah, just something else to reflect on.
Yeah. Being as I got super passionate this episode, I feel like there is so much more that we can talk about that we definitely planned for and haven't gotten to. So, if you found this episode interesting at all and it has left you wanting more, I think we will revisit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if your brain feels fried, your attention scattered, and your thumb's got a mind of its own, maybe it's not you, maybe it's the system you're stuck in.
You don't have to throw your phone in a river. Just start by noticing what online noise is costing you and what quiet might give back.
Maybe the goal isn't total disconnection, it's coming home to yourself again, even in a connected world. Next time, we'll be talking about too much to share. When you meet someone and suddenly you're telling them your entire life story and then regretting it for days.
But for now, I'll leave you with this question. What would change if you stopped treating your phone like an emergency line to the whole world and started treating it like a tool for a quieter, more intentional life? That's all from us today. If this episode made you feel a bit less alone, the best way to help us reach more people is to subscribe, rate the podcast, and follow Too Much Apparently on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Those simple clicks help other sensitive humans find us when they need it most. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon.